Hi everyone, I'm Saleha Singh and welcome to Gupshup with Saleha. How is everyone?
Yeah.
Become a pro at time managing and multitasking, looking after your own work, the housework, and now children's studies. Tonight, we are chatting about remote online learning. Meet my guests, Ami Mohan, a mother of two and a businesswoman, Indrani Banerjee, a senior secondary STEM teacher and mother to Dante, the most naughtiest German shepherd, Rubi Basu, a senior primary school teacher and mother of Taka Banerjee, her gorgeous French poodle, and Sarmita Gupta, a secondary STEM teacher who teaches years 8 to 12 and mother of Buzz and Sputnik, her gorgeous Cavoodle and Jack Russell, who are also her life. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Before we start, can you just tell us something about yourselves, please? Ami, we'll start with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm a mom of two, as Saleha said, two teenage boys. I work in strata industry and full-time mother, full-time working mother, I can say. I love to travel, but unfortunately, I'm grounded these days thanks to COVID-19.
Indrani, one sentence about
Hi,
you.
Hi everyone. Uh, I have been in this industry. I've actually changed my career many times, 4 times. I started as a statistician. I've had a business of my own. For the last 20 years, I've been teaching. And I'm ready to retire. So I'm planning on that. So, Ami, I'm going to travel very soon once all
There
this is
you go.
over. Yep.
Of
We'll
course.
be
Thank
doing
you.
that together.
Yep. Thank you. Yes, would love that. Yep.
Ruby,
Uh, Hi, I'm a primary school teacher for a while now. Love having kids around me. I love traveling as well, especially to the mountains. And I love reading books. It can be a paper packet as well. If you know about paper packets in India, I can even read that. That's what I love.
great. Sharmita,
Hi everyone. I have been a teacher for the last like 17 years in Melbourne, and before that, I was a teacher in Auckland, in New Zealand. Um, Other than teaching, I enjoy cooking, as you know, Saleha, and
yes, I know.
I like to get involved in community activities. And my hobby is singing. I have a passion for singing.
And you're a
So
great singer.
not really, but it's just my hobby. I don't get enough time to pursue it. Um, I love traveling as well. And just like Ami said, I'm completely grounded at the moment.
Yes, all
So,
of us are. Yes.
me.
Ruby, I'll start the questions and I'll start it with you. So, you are a primary school teacher and basically teach children between ages 9 and 11, a really tough age, I would say. So, can you please tell our parents and our viewers how you are a part of their learning process and what you've discovered about your students during this lockdown period, both positives and negatives? And we'll start with the positives first and then go to the negatives.
Yeah, that makes sense because there has been so much negativity going
Yes.
around. But what I have actually, I've really enjoyed certain things that was really evident during this time. One of the things that I've observed is kids really adapted well to what is going on. They have shown excellent self-management skills. Just imagine 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. They go from one Zoom to another because they can have specialist teachers there. Some are going for learning support or art, music. So many things are happening. They are organizing it. We send them slideshows and they have to organize their slideshows. They have to actually record their learning. Not everything they do on the slide. They do it on
Issues.
paper. and then they take the pictures, and then they do it. Kids are experimenting with quite a few things. They've become way better communicators. They send emails to us if they don't understand anything,
Which is great,
which I
yes.
find actually there is a connection that is coming up. Some just stay back just to talk about something. So I almost have to say, now it's lunchtime, I have to have lunch, you can go ahead. So there is that bonding that we are all in it together, which I'm observing, which I feel it's an amazing feeling to see how the kids are adapting. In terms of, I would say, in terms of negative things that I have observed is kids are addicted to technology. So we do suggest not to have more than one gadget, but kids do end up with their telephones and, of course, their iPad.
Of
And
course.
they do chat, and that can take them away from their learning, which is a challenge which is hard to actually take care of. We talk to the parents, but at the same time, it's really tricky for us to take care of. Another challenge is some people feel it's like a bit of a holiday mode. They
Yes.
don't go to sleep early, and that can be a challenge in terms of learning. At that age, I would say that another positive, I would say, is also children are more in charge of their learning. So because it's more at their own pace, which is fantastic to observe.
So that's a lot of maturity for that age.
Yes,
A lot of maturity.
I was happy to see that actually.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the next question, Ruby, is how do you keep your students motivated, especially since they can't see their friends or play any sport? What do you do as a teacher?
The social aspect is definitely the biggest issue.
Yes.
Like sometimes kids bring in their dogs, or they will have like a balloon or a character that they will bring with them. Oh, this person is with me today. And we don't mind it at all.
Yes.
So that's one fun thing that happens because they are still kids and they love
Of
it.
course. Yes.
We also actually we are encouraging them to do like different projects together. So they're online, but they're working on the same thing.
So they're collaborating.
They are collaborating
Yep.
because they have other gadgets, of course, to collaborate, but mostly we want them to do it on Zoom, because Zoom offers, like, we can do breakout rooms where kids can go to different rooms and they can discuss about something. Sometimes even for the fun of it, we give them a topic and we say, we don't mind if they're friends, they can choose the breakout rooms they can go to, and they have a bit of fun together. At the same time, learning is happening because we have to give them that feeling of community, that feeling of learning together. So some of the things probably which can sometimes get tricky is I can't be at all the rooms at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, but because it's unexpected, they don't know when you can go into that room. So they normally are on task, and we give them that freedom that you can have a chatting fun time for a while. And then this is what you have to do. So those are the things I believe it's giving that feeling of like motivating them, connectedness, and it's motivating them as well to do well, because they can see there is freedom, but there is responsibility that goes with it.
Of course. How should parents break up the routine? Because, in school you have class, you have studies, then you have breaks for sport, then you have maybe studies again. And what would you suggest parents do to, cut down the monotony of studies when children are studying at home?
Yes. At our school, we have a structured day, but not all schools are offering that. So I would say the first thing is definitely they need breaks. And during the breaks, we are actually encouraging them to go out. Like during recess, we ask them, what have you done? So did you go out? And we are setting up challenges like for this week, who walked the most or stuff like that, so that they have that. That's from our side as teachers, but from parents as well. If you can encourage them to take those breaks in between. Another thing, I think kids love stories.
Of course, yes.
So if you could read, as a parent, if you could read to them, even for 10 minutes, it's a really big thing for them. And I never knew, actually, we have a cooking program at school, but I never knew kids love cooking so much. So cooking with the kids actually is fantastic. And there is so much maths in it. If you can think about it, not only just cooking and the mess, it is about learning as well, how to organize themselves. And there is so much maths, changing recipes, asking them to change recipes and do it, give them that creative challenge as well. I think that's motivating. Also, I think at the end of each day, if the kids should go out after school because they are on Zoom or some sort of, yeah, it's too much for them, a lot of screen time. So instead of like taking them off screen, it's not easy at times. So I would ask parents to actually take them for a walk. Maybe if you just love playing footy, just kick a few footy balls or anything of that sort. That would be so good. Yeah.
I have a question from a viewer which says, which asks, are school activities that involve use of shared equipment like sports equipment, computers, musical instruments still being held? If so, how do you ensure safety from cross infection?
Actually, our school, right at the start, on the first day, they have given the equipment away to the kids. In terms of sporting equipment, they could ask for them if they wanted a soccer ball or a football. They could do it. Our school gave that permission as well from the sports teacher. They could take it. So that worked. Even if they don't have very many sporting equipment, just a ball is good enough to keep kids busy.
Okay. I have another question from Mitali, but I think that's more when I go to Indrani, which I will ask. Thanks, Ruby. That was really insightful, and I hope it's been useful to parents too.
Thank you.
Ami, I'll let you take over now. You are a mother of two boys. You have your own business. You keep really long hours. There is no time when you start, no time when you end. Your younger son is 14, who does remote learning. Your elder son is 17, who goes to a physical classroom. So you are my perfect parent. So go ahead and ask Sarmita the question about your 14-year-old and what problems you are facing.
Yeah, the issue over here is because two boys having two different daily uh, timeline and the timetables. So one obviously having a normal school 9 to 3, and the other one is still in his bed and doing remote learning. Especially with the younger one being 14 and being mischievous, he struggles when he doesn't see his friends. He loves to be in and around with his friends, and he loves to play sports. And with a lot of screen time now, he misses out those social activities. And I'd like to ask this to the teachers here. How do you strike a balance between the screen time and off-screen time now that everything is remote learning and online?
Look, I feel that these are obviously, strange times we're going through, and kids are having to navigate their way through, remote learning and balance their, activities and their learning. So there are two issues here, basically. One is academic progress. Is your son completing tasks in the school, and his mental well-being. So I feel that it is difficult. It is difficult for a child of 14 years to sort of strike that balance. Now, what I would suggest to you as a parent is to help him organize his day with a set routine and or a set schedule, and just maybe in the evening just working with him for the what he has in the next day, what sessions he has, what subjects he has to do the next day, because as you're saying, you come back home quite late, and then obviously you have to sort of talk to your child about what's on for the next day. Now, when you set a schedule, it's important that you put in, as Ruby suggested, breaks. Regular breaks are very important. So have regular breaks, and just making sure that your child is taking those breaks. I do understand that if you have gone for work and your child is at home doing the remote learning, it can be hard, but you have to monitor that he's taking regular breaks. And with those breaks, he can, sort of do whatever he feels like doing, like some hands-on project, or just going out for a walk, or if you have a pet, playing with the pet, things like that, just to take his mind off from that, the academic thing, and just to give him a sort of, balance between the academic progress and the other parts, other socializing bits that he's missing out. And also the other thing is, even having a schedule, it can happen that one day he hasn't actually followed that schedule. Don't worry about it. I feel that, eventually, if he sort of finishes his tasks at some other time, it's okay. And I'm sure teachers will understand that as well. We teachers, we know that it can be and it is overwhelming for a lot of kids. So, teachers will understand if a task hasn't been done at that very lesson, but it has been done at some other time. So don't stress too much about that, that sort of thing that, okay, this was a lesson that you had and you didn't complete it. Because I'm sure that eventually he will do it. And the other thing is, with academic progress, I know that parents stress about whether kids are learning, learning the topics, what they're being taught. But the thing is, remember, most of the topics that they're learning in these middle years, for example, fractions, as as we were discussing the other day, fractions is something that they start learning in primary school, then they learn in year 7, then they learn in year 8, and it sort of goes on. So if he hasn't picked up a few things here and there, he will eventually do it. So don't stress about it, because your stress can lead to your child being stressed. Okay, so just make sure that you're not stressing about the academic progress. As long as tasks are getting done, sort of, it's okay. And I feel that communication is also very important. So communicating with your child about how he's traveling, how he's navigating his way through the, through all that work, and also maintaining the communication with teachers, with the head of the house, or with the school. If you're facing any problem, or if your child is facing any problem, make sure you're communicating with the school, because it could be that the teachers don't know that he's having an issue with one of the topics, and he may be too shy to communicate with his teacher. So from your part, you may send an email to a teacher, or just make sure that you are aware that that's the problem your child is facing. So I think those are sort of things that you can help your child with, just maintaining that routine, but not being too strict about it, making sure that he's taking enough breaks, going out for walks, and so on. I feel that that's the tip I can give you in these strange circumstances, honestly speaking. Do you have any other? Yeah.
Can I just jump in quickly on this one? And I think what we're all facing right now is the motivation you're talking about. and the mental well-being. I personally, having taught this year levels for so many years, I think, as Sarmita actually said, that academics will happen. Academics will happen when it's meant to happen. In these unprecedented times, along with the curriculum, I think what is really important that they realize that even if they are not achieving what they have set out to achieve, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Because when you come home, and I think the biggest challenge, Ami, for you, and which I'm facing with my colleagues who have children as well, because they are at school teaching and then they're going home and trying to teach the younger ones. And only today, my colleague was saying she on Monday went home and for 3 hours she sat with her 8-year-old son trying to get him to finish his work. Now, my point is that at the end of the day, don't do that. Don't do that. He needs a hug from you. He doesn't need those 3 hours of study. So I think what's ending up is because of this stress on academics and the disruption, all we are hearing, all we are talking about is the disruption to the academic year. We are not hearing enough about the mental well-being of the kids and the resilience. Like Ruby said, I am amazed at how 15, 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds are dealing with this. Me, in my 50s, I'm struggling. Like, just for me, just getting to know an interactive whiteboard, I've never used that. So I'm trying to use that. So the kids are doing things amazingly well. They're amazing kids.
Absolutely.
And
Now, sorry.
the parents, no, sorry. So the parents have to focus on that. Just focus on the fact that keep reinforcing that. Just keep reinforcing that. Look, we are all in it together. Just keep saying that we are all in it together. You are not facing something which no one else is. So while we are in it together, our strength is that we are together. So together we'll come out of it stronger. And that might mean that, okay, academically from 80%, now you get 65%. So be it. That doesn't define you. That doesn't define you. Later on, you will get the time to pick up the academics as long as you are in the right place. You're a happy, resilient kid. You will pick up academics. And that is what I think is the biggest message we have to give to the parents. And I think Sarmita also said something very good, because as a senior teacher, we are bound by the curriculum. So we have to do it, right? So forget the VC years now, because that is a different thing. Up to year 10, we schools have certain flexibility in these unprecedented times. But we cannot do it because we worry that parents are going to come back to us and say, what's happening? My child is not learning much. We need the support from the parents. We need parents to become more vocal and say that, look, my child, after 6 o'clock in the evening, I do not want my child to actually do schoolwork, because this is the time for us to be silly. This is the time for us to play, to have a chat, to eat, to cook, to do other things.
But just some housework, just to take your mind. Yeah,
correct.
just yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm interrupting you guys here. Our son is cooking.
Yep.
And
sorry.
we have to just move on. Before I go to Indrani, I have a question from Mitali. This is from both Sarmita and Indrani.
Yeah.
What about lunch breaks? How are students able to maintain social distancing? That would be hard to monitor.
So it is very hard, Mitali, because that's the biggest challenge. In the classrooms, we are managing it very well. In the yards, it's very difficult because 16, 17-year-olds, magnetic attraction, they'll just come together. So
but I somehow feel the VC students understand this better than 7 to 10. So it's better that they are at home, because when 7 to 10 was at school, they didn't realize the importance of social distancing. But VC students are better at it, I feel.
Okay, I think there is another question. I am just going to read that out. It says there are quite a few kids with some psychological issues of varying degrees. How do you deal with it, especially given the situation that there is no reprieve for anyone?
Shall I answer that question?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I dropped off. Sorry.
So,
Yes.
so in our school, there are students that are put at risk. So those students who have some sort of psychological issues or are at risk for some reason or the other, they're sort of put into different. In fact, in our school, all kids are put into different tiers, 1, 2, and 3. 1 being the most at risk. So students at risk are supposed to be coming to school to be supervised. So they come to school in our school. I don't know about other school settings, but that's what happens in our school.
Actually, at our school, kids with psychological needs, we have a psychologist who is helping the kids. They call the kids regularly. And because we are also aware of the needs, if we see something, some behavioral things that's happening, we would take them to another room and we will have a chat with them about how they're going, what is it that we could do for them, because well-being is the most important thing here.
Absolutely.
And in our school, we've got this weekly survey that's sent out to the kids. So every kid has to just fill it in. And it's a very quick 1-minute thing with 5-6 questions as to this week, what do you feel like? What's your feeling? Up to 1 to 10, where would you put yourself? What is happening? And then the school psychologist and the heads of years and the heads of houses, that's when they jump in for anything that's required one-on-one with the kids and things like that. But we do collect data from the kids, and that way we've actually been able to monitor more than what, and the data we are collecting actually gives us the picture that strong kids, resilient kids are struggling as well. So people we wouldn't have thought about, but because children are pretty honest, so they're giving very honest responses to that. So that's one support system we have created in the school, which hopefully is going to help them, just support
Ami,
them.
Sorry, Ami, any questions?
Now, it's amazing how you teachers are saying that kids adapt well in new age and new days. And yeah, I see that within my house as well, that the kids are not stressing out as much as I'm stressing out, seeing that one son is in BCE doing his year 12 and the other one is in year 9. But yeah, it's really good that this parent, teacher, and student bonding has now increased, which is a positive sign in this COVID-19 era.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's something definitely we can take out the positivity out of it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to ask another question because I think we are running out of time. Deepak wants to know that not every kid has the same resources and parental support at home. Is the school system doing anything to level the playing field for all kids? Who would like to answer that?
I won't be the best one because I'm very fortunate in a school where most of the parents come from very similar backgrounds. And the culture of the school, and when I joined the school, all I heard every week was, you have to be always kind to each other. And that's the theme in our school. Every kid just keeps on saying that, kindness, always, kind of. So we are very lucky that way. I think Sharmita might be able to answer that better, probably, I think. Yeah. Would be best.
In our school, in terms of resources, as you know, in a government school, there are a lot of students who don't have a laptop or a device or internet connection at home. But the good thing is, during the past lockdown, the first one that we had, the government rolled out laptops to every student that didn't have one, and internet dongles to use so that they have internet connection. So that's a huge thing that happened, because when the lockdown happened in the the first time, we were so worried because half the kids didn't have devices. But now they all have devices, which is a huge thing. With internet, they do have issues sometimes, but at least with devices, they do have it. In fact, before, the story was there was one laptop or one computer in the whole family. But now, because of that scheme, everyone has a laptop. So that's a good thing
Which
that we
is
have.
really good.
Which
That's the really good thing that we have.
fantastic. Yeah,
Sorry, ladies, we'll have to move on because we are running out of time.
that's fine.
Quick message from each one of you to the parents. Ruby, I'll start with you.
I would say look for the positives because so many positive things are happening.
Yes. Indrani?
Just give them a hug every night before they go to bed and say, you are doing a good job. We are all doing a good job. And let's do it together. I think that is the message, that we are all in it.
Sarmita?
Yeah, my message as well is, we are in it together. Just let them know that we are all in it together and we'll come out of it. And when we come out of it, we'll be more resilient and we'll be more sort of, we would have developed much more during this time. So just tell them that we're in it together.
Ami, a message for the teachers, to all the teachers, not just the three here, but everyone.
A big thank you to the teachers and the education system, what we have here. It's a good support system, even for parents, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ami. Thank you. It's good to hear the positive.
We are running out of time. So thank you very much for coming to the program. Really appreciate it. And we are getting a lot of messages of thank you and outstanding program and great show. Have been following from the first episode. So thank you very, very much to all my viewers. Stay safe. Be kind to everyone. And good night, everyone. Okay.
Thanks, Saleha.
Thanks, Saleha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.